Dune Part 2 arrives, guys. What do you think about this? Dune Part 2 today, guys, in theaters. Are you going to go out and see it? It drops today, February 29th, 2024. New movie news, guys. Yes, if you didn't know, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including what's going on with that Naked Gun reboot. We've got Ghostbusters 5 maybe coming. Hey, you know the crow images that dropped yesterday? There's a lot of people that don't like it. I didn't know that when I first saw it. I didn't have the repulsed kind of reaction that a lot of people are having out there. So we'll talk about the crow fallout. A new trailer for the Bikeriders came out. But we start off today's show by talking about the big title, Dune Part 2. And I'm going to do my formal review today. I was going to do it separately on its own, but it's kind of like, I just don't have the time, guys. I'm sorry. We'll do it live today, and it'll be cut out and put out on itself. So, this is not really a spoiler because this came out like a week ago. It spoiled it for me, sort of. She's not a big part in this movie. She's just kind of a glimpse of something, and it's kind of like, oh, okay. Does Anya Taylor-Joy, who does Anya Taylor-Joy play in Dune Part 2? If you know the story, and you know what happens in events-wise in this movie, use this up here and you can pretty much figure it out. Obviously who she's gonna be playing. Is she gonna be playing one of the Fremen? Probably not. Is she gonna be playing one of the I guess soothsayers kind of people, you know, the women that drink the stuff and see the visions of the future? Maybe she's one of those people. I don't know. But if you think about it logically, you can kind of figure out who she's going to be playing. But it was kept a secret for such a long time. Nobody knew about it until like a week ago. She showed up at the premiere all dressed up in this garb. Like, what the heck's going on here? So yeah, it's not, this is the kind of thing where it's not going to spoil your enjoyment of the film. It's just kind of like, yeah, well, it's curious. For the sake of an experiment, Denise said this, quote, "I think that Hollywood is the most gossipy town on earth, and I wanted, as an experiment, to see how long we could keep a secret. We did it. It was a special unit. We went to Africa to shoot with Anya under super secrecy. I just love the idea to keep something a surprise for the audience until the very end. It was like a gift I wanted to keep for the fans, and it was cool to see her. Well, you guys, you know me, and Anya Taylor-Joy is one of my favorite actresses. Just like, she swaps in and out of the top 5 constantly, and one day maybe she'll cement herself into my top 5 all-time roles. Female actresses, sorry. Yeah, she's awesome. Like, she's just got chops that and range. It's just, you're mesmerized all the time whenever she's on the screen. So it's kind of like, yeah, as I said, she's not a major part of Dune Part 2, but it's just kind of like a curiosity kind of thing that Denis wanted to try to have in his movie, and I respect him for it. So, do we need an orange color in the background maybe for this? Will it work? Or will I look kind of weird? Yeah, I don't know if people will dig that. How about red? No? Blue? No, blue's too cold. Red looked kind of like interesting. Did it not? No? Yes? Let's just go back to the white. Whatever. Actually, I kind of, maybe the lighter orange. There's yellow as well. Yellow just makes it look like. All right, let's just do this one. Okay, so Dune Part 2. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Do I got that ready? Yeah. Dune Part 2 is in theaters right now, guys, and I gotta tell you that it is an awesome movie, man. This is why we go to theaters. This is why, you know, people become movie fans, because of the spectacle that Denis Villeneuve manages to capture on film. It's grandiose, it's epic, It's got sound design where your seats will shake and rumble as things are coming down to land. It's got a little bit of a romance going on in the background there with Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. And then if you like the first movie, guys, then of course you're going to want to see where the story goes next. This movie, despite it being like a serious sci-fi stuff, has a lot of comedy kind of mixed into it, and a lot of it has to come from Javier Bardem there. Uh, they managed to capture the spiritual side of things to the story, and a lot of it has to do with his character. And I dug it, man. I dug it all the way. So Dune Part 2, what is it about? What's it about? Oh my God, goodness gracious. Paul Atreides unites with Chani and the Fremen while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. So if you don't know this part of the story, well, we saw glimpses of it in the first movie, like Dune Part 1, where, the Atreides were awarded Arrakis to control the spice operations, and then, well, the Harkonnens come in and, well, they say, no, we're going to do it instead and kill his father and stuff like that. So, and it's just kind of like, well, how do you attack these people now, right? Because they've got the strongholds, they've got the spice production, and Paul goes out and, with the help of the Fremen, disrupts the spice mining operation to the point where the Harkonnens now start to look bad. So they get this guy, Fade Routha, to come in and beat up on the beast, Raban, Dave Bautista, who kind of fumbled the ball there. And there's like some jockeying politically there with Princess Aurelian there by Florence Pugh as to like, what's the motives here? How can we come out of this looking on like we're the masterminds and we're on top? And Christopher Walken plays the Emperor, her dad. But man, you watch this movie right up off the bat in the opening scenes. It's just like, yes, we're on a totally different plane here. And I've described it as like watching Avatar, where it's kind of like, this is the kind of thing that you want to watch on the big screen because the scope is there. And it's just, I want to watch it again. This is the kind of movie where you're just going to be out of it and be like, let's go back and watch that again. And that's exactly what I said when I came out of watching Inception, Star Wars, The Return of the Jedi. I was just like, yes, it's one of those types of movies, guys. You got to see it on the big screen with the big sound. And I think that I'm not the only one that's going to have this kind of reaction to it. The hype is real. Every now and then you hear people hyping up movies like Star Wars, Force Awakens, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, let's go see the movie. Oh, it was good. Oh, was it though? Wait a minute. I think I was just bamboozled here by J.J. Abrams. Yeah, it's not one of those situations. The hype is real here, where it's kind of like, all right, you build it up in your head, you want to see some epic stuff, you want to see some monumental kind of coolness, and then you're like in the theater watching it unfold, and you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah, no, this is cool. This is awesome. I can't believe what we're watching here. Yeah. It's just a great experience. People clapped and cheered at the end of this movie. It's just a great communal theater experience, man. People will laugh, gasp all at the same time. Denis Villeneuve delivers. And when you watch this movie, it's kind of like, why can't other properties do this? James Cameron seems to do it with the Avatar movies, and now Denis Villeneuve does it with this kind of sci-fi properties. The only other people that kind of come close are maybe Gareth Edwards with The Creator and stuff like that. Ridley Scott has tried, but he's fumbled the ball a lot with a lot of his recent stuff. And it's like, well, there's been other good sci-fis like Blade Runner 2049. Well, that's Denis Villeneuve as well. He's the guy who did this, Arrival and stuff like that. He's the guy who did this. So it's kind of like, I'm sorry that I'm fanboying out over Denis Villeneuve, but my God, the guy deserves recognition for this. March 1st is when this comes out, tomorrow, guys. Early screenings tonight. And this is a masterpiece, a visual masterpiece by Denis Villeneuve. Easily in my top 5 directors, if not my favorite right now. It's hard between him and Christopher Nolan, who's my favorite. James Cameron is always going to be up there on my Mount Rushmore of directors. It's just those 3 right now are just kind of like, they're making magic, man. They're making magic. Who else is in my top 5? Yorgos Lanthimos is getting up there. I like Wes Anderson, even though a lot of people didn't like Asteroid City. He's just got a different flair. But for me, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, they're up there. They're in the top 5 for sure. And George Lucas, really? Well, hey, sorry guys, I like him as a director. So with all of that mumbo jumbo out of the way, let's take a look at the early score sheet and figure out where I'm going to be starting to land for Dune Part 2. Acting is right up there. You got 2 great performances right there from Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet. But then you got Rebecca Ferguson. And as I said, Javier Bardem is fantastic as Stilgar in this. So ensemble-wise, I got to give this a full point. And Austin Butler as Fade. My God. So subtle to begin with. And you're like, really? That's the bad guy? Can he really beat people up? And yes, he can. And it's well done. It's well executed. So it's not a 3, James. It's a 2. Yes, acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points. Cinematography and score, 1 point each. Directing. I could knock it down for directing here. I could. Because there's a few story pacing issues that I have that are kind of like, sometimes the story moves a little bit too quickly. It's kind of like, okay, well, that was cool to watch. And then, oh, wait, we're doing that already? So soon, so quick? And maybe that my impression of it will be different when I see it the second time around. But it felt like sometimes the story was being hurried along. And then there was some stuff that you'll be like, well, why didn't we just cut that out so we can get to more of this juicy stuff, man? But it's kind of like the directing of the actors are great. The directing of the cinematography, the visual effects, the sound design is all there. So I gotta give directing a full 2 points here for Denis Villeneuve. And the story. This is, I think, where I'm going to knock it down. Because, as I said, there are some issues in there pacing-wise. But, guys, this movie's like 2 hours and 50 minutes, but you don't feel it at all. There's just some things in there where you're kind of like, you know that there's a longer cut of this movie, and you want to see that longer cut. So maybe... I don't know. And as I said, my initial impression right now is 1.5 for this story, even though it's great. Okay. Now, I said that cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point each, but, I got to say the cinematography is breathtaking in this. And as I said, you'll know that when in the first 5 minutes that the cinematography is just being taken to this whole other level. And it's like, wow, man. And the score, Hans Zimmer, just the way that it's used, it's just like, wow. And they don't beat you over the head with that, yeah, kind of stuff. It's music that totally fits what they're trying to do, and I gotta give that props. So, what are people saying about this? Let's go over to the tomato meter. 95% by critics. No audience score just yet. Why did I see it early? I'm just a casual fan because I saw a fan event on the weekend. Most people are going to see it today, and it's not going to let you down. This is the kind of movie where it's not going to let you down, and then you will want to watch it again. So it's come down a little bit. I think it debuted with like 98% or something like that, but now it's come down a little bit because, the measured response is kind of like, well, yeah, exactly what I was saying about some of the story issues, the pacing issues. I know that some people have some issues with the way that it wrapped up towards the end, kind of like, well, that's not what would have happened. There are Dune purists out there that will have issues. But I've also seen Dune purists talk about this movie already, and they forgive some of the stuff. We talked about the Harkonnens in the first movie, about how they're not supposed to be bald and stuff like that, but whatever. Like, just minor things like that don't really change the way that the characters act. the characters act appropriately. For me, I just felt this time around that the Harkonnens, especially the Baron, by Stellan Skarsgård, I felt like he was a little bit neutered. He wasn't quite as vicious. You hear, it's more implied viciousness. You hear him killing people in another room, but you don't actually get to see it. And I would have preferred to have actually seen it, because that's how grotesque the Harkonnens are. So it's like, yeah, he's gross to look at, but I didn't find him as quite as menacing as the 1980s version, the David Lynch version. I still prefer that Baron, because I prefer the over-the-top kind of stuff. This is the way that performance was given, was a little bit more menacing. This one is kind of like he hands over the reins to Austin Butler to be the menace in it, and it's good. It's good. Dave Bautista, again, he fumbles the ball trying to find the Fremen, and why is the disruption in the spice happening? He tries to do that. He fumbles the ball, and he plays that part fairly well. As I said, everybody shines. So Detroit News liked it. Your worm is waiting. Jump on and hang on tight. Washington Post. Dune Part 2 builds a world that's undeniably spectacular, compressing a sprawling, borderline incomprehensible story into an efficient narrative delivery system. Somebody who didn't like it. The Times UK. Villeneuve has taken the worst and most preachy bits from Avatar about how imperialism is fueled by exploitation of natural resources and seemingly repackaged them with an orange Instagram filter and a couple of dozen heavy brass brahms. No, I like all that stuff. So, okay. There are going to be a few people out there who'll be kind of like, well, guys, it's too loud. It's too washed out. You can't see the face, or it's like, what? Well, Denis does a great job of shooting it to the point where it's like he shows you different aspects where it's like, okay, we get to properly lit shots of the desert, but then there are also shots where he uses the sun and uses the exposure to like wash people out, because that's exactly what you would see. Oh, and Gideon Prime. Oh God, such great stuff. See, and that's where I wanted to see more of the weird stuff, like the weird body experimentation kind of thing going on. I hear people criticizing Christopher Walken, saying that he was a little bit miscast in this. I just thought it was cool to see him, like, because I thought he had sort of like pseudo retired, but he can still command the screen, guys. He still can. When he talks, you want to hear what he's saying. But yes, I wasn't a big fan of the way that Emperor was particularly handled, because it seemed like he was kind of like fumbling his way around. But you'll understand what when you see it. It doesn't take away from the film. I enjoyed it. Corey Coleman from Double Toasted. Dune Part 2 is a true cinematic experience. It needs to be seen on the big screen. Totally agree, man. Totally agree. Richard Krause. Dune Part 2 is a big, wild vision and answer to the stately elegance of the first film. It's blockbuster filmmaking writ large, exciting, and laced with high stakes. High stakes indeed. There's a few storylines in there, so that you're kind of like, well, what happened to the computers? The people that are like computers, right? That have been re-engineered, brainwashed. What happened to all those storylines? There'll be small things in there that'll be kind of like, well, what? That should be part of the story, but because it's already close to 3 hours, it would have been like, it just would have been too much. So somewhere out there, I feel like, yes, there's probably an 9-hour cut of these two films put together that would satisfy all of us fans that were like, kind of like, well, I wish we could have seen what happened to that character, because I really like that part of the book, kind of thing. I'm sure it was filmed. I'm sure it's all in there, but it's kind of like, this is the interpretation of the story we got, and I thought that Denis Villeneuve and the cast should be very proud and happy for what they delivered for us, that you guys are going to be able to go and see this weekend. Dune Part 2, man. Thumbs up in my book. That's pretty much all I have to say about it without going into too much spoilers. Some people have said that Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet don't have chemistry. I thought that they did, and a lot of people didn't like the way that some character, like the way that kind of a relationship evolved. But I think those nitpicks will just be washed away with repeat viewings. This is something that will have to have repeat viewings because of, like, some of the story, as I said, is just sometimes it felt like it was glossed over. So maybe I just missed it when I first watched it because I was just so mesmerized. This is something that'll be like, yes, I want to watch it again. So let's wrap up this review. Watchability factor, as I said, you want to watch it on the big screen for sure. And if you like the first movie, then you want to watch this one. And would I own this in my collection on Blu-ray or 4K? Absolutely. 9.5 for Dune Part 2. If I were to knock it down to 9, the only other place that I think I could knock it down to, like, as I said, because of the story and execution problems, is there for a 9 out of 10. But it's kind of like, no, I like it. So too bad. 9.5 out of 10 for Dune Part 2. It's very close to being a masterpiece. There are some stuff in there. And if I were to be just, I would say 9 out of 10. But I'm going to fanboy out here right now and say 9.5 out of 10 for Dune Part 2, guys. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. I thought it was awesome, and I'm going to go see it again, probably, hopefully, on Saturday, because I just got to do it again. Because I just going to sit in the theater and be like, wow, oh my God, what a pleasure and an honor it is to be in the theater watching Denis Villeneuve's films. And 9.5 out of 10. Dune Part 2. Kudos. All right, guys, if you like what you've seen, come join us here on Mirror Domains, because we do other things here on the channel besides movie reviews. Well, we got Madame Web up there as well, Lisa Frankenstein. But we watch trailers, trailer reactions for Godzilla X Kong, Deadpool and Wolverine, Millie Bobby Brown's new movie, Damsel, trailer reaction of Ariana Grande's Wicked, A Quiet Place Day One, Society of Snow full movie reactions, and of course we do movie news throughout the week where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day. So if you like this kind of stuff, by all means come over here and join us here on Mirror Domains, and I'll see you next time. Go see Dune. Trust me, you'll like it. You'll like it a lot. All right, so that will be cut out and put up on the channel later on. Yeah, 9.5. If I were going to be like totally just, I guess I would probably give it the 9. 9 out of 10. But as I said, you're allowed to fanboy out every now and then, right? And that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. I feel like I myself am being a little bit washed out. Maybe that my ring light is being too much light on me. Or is it from this side? Yeah, no, it's from this side. I know. Turn it down just a little bit. Did it turn it down? No. There. I did turn it down. Oh well. Whatever. All right. Let's get back into some movie news. Now that that's done, completely out of the way. Talking about Austin Butler in Dune Part 2 is going to be in the Bikeriders. The Bikeriders. It's got a new trailer out. Now, I was already sold on this movie because of the cast. Tom Hardy, Austin Butler. So, Chicago, 1965. It's about a biker gang. And the new trailer shows you a little bit more of the story and stuff like that. There was some controversy in this. Jodie Comer is also in this. So, Michael Shannon also, right? I think. Yes. Is Michael Shannon in this? Let's go to the IMDb. It was dropped by the distribution company that was going to do it before, Yeah, Michael Shannon right there. And Norman Reedus, that'll be cool. See him in a big movie. We haven't seen him in a big movie because he's been consumed with a lot of TV stuff, but he likes motorcycles. So it's kind of like, cool, man. Um, yeah, I like the cast and I like this trailer. Guys, I don't know why the distribution people just kind of went, ooh, I don't know if we're pulling out. We're not going to release this movie. So it had to get shopped around for another distributor. And, well, we got it, so it's coming out this year. It was supposed to come out in December last year. Tom Hardy, I'll always watch what he does. I know that he's got a little bit of a reputation of being a little bit difficult to work with because he's so meticulous in his approach to acting that sometimes he doesn't snap at people, but it's kind of like I'm the big shot kind of thing, right? Not quite diva. I haven't heard diva mentality, but he's kind of like, guys, this is the standard that I'm working with, and you got to keep up, kind of thing, right? Which is fine because that's what Tom Cruise does. But sometimes if you push it too far, it could be a little bit, well, not in your favor. But I like everything I like about this movie. I like the concept of the biker gang, this guy getting in over his head. Tom Hardy's the kind of guy that's roping him in. Um, so I'm guessing like what'll happen is that he goes to bat for him throughout the movie, but then he'll get his comeuppance at the end. So kind of like a Training Day kind of scenario, but except for cops, it's for biker gang kind of thing. Uh, that's what I'm expecting to see happen. I like the aesthetic of it, and June 21st is when this comes out. Um, I thought it looked great. I can't wait to see this movie. Can't wait. People are saying Wild One, just like Marlon Brando. Yeah, and Austin Butler. Uh, he's a big star too, man. So is Jodie Comer, for crying out loud, James. Um, Austin Butler, Dune Part Two is big right now. He just had Elvis the previous year, so it's kind of like he's he's a star, man, and that's why I wanted to see this movie. He's got range too, especially with his voice. You watch him in Dune Part Two, and you'd be like, "That's his voice. This is the guy who played Elvis. He's talking like that." It's like what? But yeah, yeah, that's what sort of like. And then he's playing a normal role like this where he's talking. So it's kind of like, yeah, I want to see the Bikeriders. June 21st, eh? Jeff Nichols directs. Um, New trailer. What do you guys think about that? I think it's looking pretty sharp. Okay, The Crow Fallout. Stop, guys. When The Crow pictures debuted yesterday, I had no idea that people were going to despise it as much as they do. The Crow director Alex Proyas blasts the look of Eric Draven in the remake. So the original director saw the pictures and says, nope, you guys don't know what you're doing. A lot of people have complaints about his hair, that it's not the long goth kind of look that, well, the Crow's signature look. And we saw the reports yesterday that this is the look that the current director wanted to have for this film, like the punk era in the UK or something, of going clubbing at night. Yes, and I saw the Jared Leto comparisons yesterday. This is how I first started to know about this because yeah, we saw the tattoos on him, and at the time I was kind of like, well, yeah, well, like punk rocker kind of thing. Okay, fine. I would expect to see tattoos then. But then, yeah, Joker comparison. It's kind of like now you can't unsee it, right? You can't unsee it. Oh, mercy. Yeah. And for the most part, people are saying, well, stop remaking stuff that we loved. Well, unfortunately, guys, you can't get away from it. And you're not going to get away from it because this movie's coming out regardless in June. If it stinks, just don't go see it. Don't reward them with money, with which was what people were doing for Madame Web for some reason. Like everybody came out and saying that it's not good, but people went to see it anyway. I don't understand that. Um, it's just like last year's Exorcist Believer. Everybody came out of that movie, all critics and like YouTuber critics came out and said, no, guys, this is a terrible, awful movie. But people went to go see it anyway. I don't understand it. Why do we. We're saying no, 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 but I don't know. Fans of The Crow are going, no, 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 we don't want to see this. And Bill Skarsgård is a good actor, and he's somebody who has range. He's got range to do things like this, Pennywise. But then he can be like the businessman kind of underhanded guy in John Wick Chapter 4. So he can do it, man. He's just we're gonna have to wait to see what the first trailer is, and if this comes out in June, then the trailer for this should be just around the corner, and they need to put it out sooner rather than later to maybe combat this backlash that's been happening over the Crow reboot. Now, I said this yesterday. It's not his makeup or the way that he looks that's going to make or break this film. It's how it's executed in the story. Like, well, we know that there's a revenge flick, and from what I understand, the first act is like he's not dead in the first act. It's him and Shelley living happily before whoever is going to be like. If you're not using T-Bird and Top Dollar, Skank, Funboy, I don't know why are you putting in different. Yeah, it's that issue that I will have with. It's how you are doing this, right? Well, that's not the way that I wanted to make my movie. I wanted to make The Crow based on my experiences and infuse my experiences, is what the director's saying. The director said, I want to use my experiences with going to the clubs in the UK and in the punk era and use that as The Crow. Well, that's your experiences. That's not the source material. And that's what I think a lot of people have issues with, is that you're not respecting the source material that made it popular and made the fans come to that franchise or that property in the first place. You're kind of like, well, I'm going to re-envision it. It's kind of like, well, we've seen this before where it's worked a little bit with, well, I'm going to reinvent Superman. Instead of his father dying from a heart attack, he's just going to get swept away in a tornado. So, what? What? Why? Why? Why are you doing that? It's kind of like that response. And we'll just have to wait and see what's going on with the trailer first. See it in motion. See it in, because now that you've seen the Joker comparisons to the Jared Leto comparisons, kind of like you can't unsee it. So it's kind of like, and if he doesn't put on the makeup until the last 5 minutes of the film, they should just bury this movie now. Don't have it come out. Don't release The Crow. Pull it from the schedule. Eat it, because if the Marvels, if Madame Web haven't proven to the studios that you shouldn't put out these films if it's not going to resonate, if it's going to damage your brand, don't put it out. And if Crow Reboot is not good and it doesn't pay respects to the source material, doesn't give us the goth vibes that people want to see from The Crow, I would just pull it from. And I would say just put it out on streaming, but it's kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I just hope if this doesn't land, and we've heard how much the director wanted to veer off from the source material, I hope that director is not given another project in Hollywood. Like after Snow White, this is the guy who did Snow White and the Huntsman, which is kind of like, meh. I don't understand how these people still get work after you make bombs. It boggles my mind. Yeah. Let's not harp on it anymore. Wifer in the live chat there. Let's put the live chat back up. Says, hey, how's it going? Hey, we're just talking some movie news headlines today. Talked about Dune Part 2. Talked about the Bikeriders and the Crow Fallout. Let's talk about the First Omen. The First Omen image features star Nell Tiger Free. Now we got the trailer for the Omen. So what are you talking about? First images. I don't understand that. Okay, there she is, the First Omen. So, are you looking forward to the First Omen? leave a comment below and take a look at this image from the film while scrolling. So Total Film also has got this image out. Yeah. It's rated R for violent content, grisly, disturbing images, and brief graphic nudity. So you get to see somebody in their birthday suit, probably a cadaver or something. Hopefully, I don't know. It's about like the demon baby, right? Um, yeah. Here's the synopsis for The First Omen. When a young woman is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, she encounters a darkness that causes her to question her own faith and uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of evil incarnate. Well, we know that it does eventually, right? So it's kind of like this is the prequel to The Omen. I think I would be more interested in the sequel to The Omen because we know that the baby gets born. So what happens to the baby when it grows up and realizes that he's, the spawn of Satan? Like, I want to see that, the challenges of that. Like, how do you acclimate to the rest of society, knowing that, well, what powers do you have? Anyway, I digress. First image from, well, not really first image, but like another image from The First Omen. Nell Tiger Free will encounter the Antichrist. Hey, where's the release date for this? Come on. First Omen. April 5th. Yeah, so that's just a month away now, guys. Oh, yeah, by the way, yeah. Happy leap year everybody. Hey, it's only this day once every 4 years, so February 29th. Ooh. Next, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire director already has ideas for another sequel. So technically, Frozen Empire is the 4th Ghostbusters movie, and I like everything I've seen about this movie so far. The marketing materials, the pitch we heard right after Afterlife for this was kind of like they're going back to New York for this one. Thumbs up on that. They got the old cast back, and from what I've seen in the trailers, it's not going to be like a Star Wars situation where, oh, yeah, we're going to bring back the old characters, but we're going to kill them off in each movie. No, it's not like that. Thank you. Yes, you're able to bring in the retro older characters, the vintage characters, and still have them be part of the story without having to kill them off. Although I'm pretty sure that Bill Murray would probably not blink an eye if they said, "Oh, let's kill off your character," but whatever. Jason Reitman, and I really love Ghostbusters. Gil Keenan told Total Film, "We love these characters, and we would be really happy if audiences were down to keep going on adventures with them. If audiences feel this way, then we know what the next stories are going to be." So, Gil Keenan, director, right? Carrie Coon also wants to return. Well, of course, it's work that you're an actor. Yeah, I'm not going to redo the synopsis for Frozen Empire. But if you know Dan Aykroyd and the way he's always talked about Ghostbusters, is that he always, since its inception, wanted it to be about more than just one group of Ghostbusters, right? He was thinking grandiose worldwide. Of course, there would be other Ghostbusters out there aside from the main 4 that started it, because ghosts are everywhere, and that's the way that Dan Aykroyd envisioned it, and that's why the female version should have just been like in the same universe, guys. Instead of trying to reboot it, they really dropped the ball with that one. Yeah, because if the girls, like the one that everybody hated with Kirsten Wiig, if that just happened in the same universe, and you know that they're out there somewhere, we don't have to see them in any of of these movies. But it's just kind of like if they took that approach, it would have landed a whole way better. And I'm looking forward to Frozen Empire. It comes out this month. Well, sorry, we're not quite to March yet, but it comes out at the end of this month, right? March 22nd, Frozen Empire. And I'm looking forward to it. March is going to be a great month. Doom Part 2 kicks us off at the beginning of March. And it looks like you got Frozen Empire coming out. Then you got Godzilla X Kong the week after Ghostbusters. So we're just going to be hitting full overdrive. So he's got ideas. And that's good. That's that's really good. Naked Gun Reboot. This isn't like a story that came out like on Monday or something, right? Naked Gun Reboot with Liam Neeson lands 2025 release date from Paramount. With Paw Patrol 3 and the new TMNT film after Mutant Mayhem is going to come out next year as well. The Paw Patrol and the Mutant Mayhem, I don't really, whatever. But yeah, we've heard for years now that Liam Neeson has been attached to some kind of Naked Gun reboot, and I think that he could do it because he can do serious dramatic acting. And what made it the first iterations of it with Leslie Nielsen work was that he had a background in dramatic acting and he played it straight. Yeah, he was crazy and did really silly stuff, but he always played it seriously. So it's kind of like you could see Liam Neeson doing that, hanging from a building from statues that have body parts on them. Now, could they do that today? Could it be as crass as the original? I don't know. I hope so. I hope it doesn't pull any punches. Seth MacFarlane is producing, creator of like Family Guy and stuff like that, guys. So we've got some comedians and people who can be funny in this. Akiva Goldsman directs, so it's kind of like, or wrote it, right? Just don't hold back anything. And like seeing Liam Neeson handle it seriously when silly stuff is happening, I think he can pull it off. And it's an inspired casting. So 2025 is when Naked Gun Reboot happens. Really looking forward to it. Do I? And guys, this is the kind of thing where if it doesn't land, well, so what? We still got the original Naked Gun that still brings laughs to a lot of people today. You watch people's reactions to it, like movie reactors. You watch their stuff. The jokes all still land. So you don't need to pull your punches. Show some nudity in there. Talk about crass stuff. um, and like pap smear. It's like, yeah, just totally ridiculous. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I think Liam Neeson can do it. Paw Patrol, it's more release dates. Yeah, we talked about the release date stuff. Naked Gun reboot, July 18th, 2025. So they got to be shooting it pretty much soon, I would imagine, if not by summer. Yeah, Akiva Schaffer, sorry, Akiva Schaffer directs. Yeah. What are the other ones? Paw Patrol, if you were interested. Well, I don't think you are. July 31st, 2026. And Robbie Williams' Better Man, I don't know what that is. Novocaine, March 14th, 2025. Amber Midthunder leading the cast for that one. Novocaine with Jack Quaid and Dan Burke. Robert Olson follows a sheltered bank executive with a rare genetic condition that prevents him from feeling pain. And when his bank is robbed, one of his co-workers, Midthunder, is kidnapped. He is forced to act and turn his greatest liability into his greatest strength. Well, that sounds interesting. Although people will be kind of like, well, he's a damsel in distress, Amber Midthunder. I'll watch anything with her in it. I don't care about that stuff. Vicious, October 8th, 2025. Dakota Fanning. A late night visitor leaves her with a strange present. A young woman must spend the night fighting for her existence as she slips down a disturbing rabbit hole contained inside the gift. Vicious. So it seems like it could be more of like an acting piece from Dakota Fanning. I don't know. Interesting stuff. What do we got next? MCU reshoots. Unbelievable. Yes. Guys, reshoots are a normal part of the process of kind of like, okay, um, you know what? This part, we see the character using this in one part of the scene, but he's not using it in the next. So we'll go back and we'll reshoot a transition scene of him either setting it down or giving it to somebody. That's what the intent of what reshoots were meant to do. Lately, though, reshoots have been used by the MCU to reshoot half of the movie because the studio decides that they want to change direction. So one of the stars from Black Widow says it can be soul destroying going through that process because as an actor, you sign up for you read the script and you sign up for it and it's like, yeah, okay, I like this character. I like the way this is going. I'm on board. You go in, you shoot that stuff, and then months later, you're kind of like, oh, we got to pick up some reshoots? No problem. Yeah, no worries. Wait a minute, we're scrapping half of the movie? Most of my performance, all my work that I did is gone. What? What? Yeah, that's aside from us movie fans, where it's kind of like, why are we retooling most of the movie? And we've heard that MCU is retooling a lot of their stuff, like Thunderbolts retooled, right? New writer came on at the last minute. That's kind of like, ugh. It can be soul destroying. So who is the actor that said this? Ray Winstone said this on working with Black Widow. I thought it was because Scarlett Johansson is my favorite actress of all time. I thought it was going to be her, but no, it was Ray Winstone. He was the corporate bad guy in that movie, right? Soul destroying due to tedious reshoots and producer interference. Black Widow's release faced piracy issues and suffered from a heavy criticism of its over visual effects. Well, yeah, because it went straight to streaming, right? Because it came out during the pandemic time, so it's kind of like, well, we watched it together. Florence Pugh was good in it. Of course, Scarlett Johansson, always. Black Widow failed. Yeah, it was a movie that should have come out like years before. Years. And it, I felt like her perfect send off was Endgame. So, and this came out after Endgame, so it's kind of like I don't know why. It was kind of like one of the first ones that should have just been scrapped. Yes, you could have introduced Elena and everybody else in the movie in different movies. It felt like the cast of this movie, like if you took out Black Widow and put in Falcon and Captain America, like you heard, like yes, Captain America 4 is getting a retool, like they're reshooting most of the movie because I guess what they first shot was no good. People are like, oh, ah. I don't have a whole lot of hopes for Captain America 4. I don't have a whole lot of hopes for Thunderbolts, but they're trying. They're trying to course correct. And I don't know if it's going to be in time. I don't know. Karen Gillan's part of the MCU, and I do like her as one of my favorite actresses. Top 20 for sure. Marvel star Karen Gillan. Guys, you know how much I obsess over her. Anyway, Karen Gillan pleads for role in Willy Wonka Experience Disaster. Okay, so I saw these headlines. Yeah, there was like a Willy Wonka experience set up somewhere, right? And I guess the disastrous Willy Wonka inspired event in Glasgow resulted in chaos and disappointment. Refunds have been given to 850 attendees of the event, but the actors involved likely won't receive promised wages. The Willy Wonka experience disaster has taken the internet by storm. Yeah. Marvel star Karen Gillan is pleading for a role in the inevitable adaptation. Okay, so they're gonna do an adaptation of like how badly this thing landed. Let's just see if we can find some images of how terrible this thing looked. Okay, so Penguin Zeo is doing his thing. Uh, is he's got some, yeah, so it looks, what, rinky dink. It looks like amateur hour. This is something that you would see in your high school, right? And you're going to be paid. How much were you paying for this? Um, yeah, looks like he's interviewing somebody. So it was an unmitigated flop, and Karen Gillan wants to star in a movie about it. People trying to make a little extra cash on the side. Let's capitalize on the Willy Wonka thing. They totally made something that sucks. Wow. Hey, not every piece of art is meant to be cool. Yeah, you hear the kid looking at it going, oh. Event had no chocolate. Kids were given a single jelly bean and a cup of lemonade. So it's really, really amateur hour. Oi, it's just bad press. Like, this is something that you expect in a town hall, just kind of like the community center of people just putting it on as a theme kind of event for children on a Saturday afternoon. But they've kind of advertised it as what, as the big deal kind of thing. And customers were comparing the Oompa Loompa station to a meth lab. Oi, that's not a good look, man. That's not a good look. Oi. It's laughable. But at least Karen Gillan's trying to have fun with it. She's trying to capitalize on it. Maybe she can be the one person involved in this monstrosity of a thing, this weak sauce attempt. This is what happens when you don't have enough money in the budget to pull off what you want, right? Please cast me in this, like a movie based on this story, not the actual thing. Actually, no. Neither is fine. What? No, she doesn't want to be involved with it? Yes, you do. I'd watch Karen Gillan in anything. I've watched her in one of the worst movies I've seen called The Bubble. So, if you haven't heard about the Willy Wonka experience, uh, look it up. It's kind of, it's laughable, right? Our Glass Viking says in the live chat, looking forward to Moon Knight's second season and Midnight Sun's debut. Yeah, Glasgow is not the place to go for fantasy chocolate fulfillment. You want to go to Bulgaria, right? Is that where it is? Or Bavaria? Bavarian chocolate? Sweden. Swedish, right? No? Switzerland. There. Swiss chocolate. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it looks like it was put in the back of like some airport hangar or something. I don't know. Shame on you. Shame. Rings of Power Season 3. Yes, I was one of the few people that actually liked the first season of Rings of Power. I fully agree that it had a very rough first couple of episodes. I would just even skip the first 3 episodes. Just watch it from, yeah, the last half of the season. I liked it. I liked it a lot. But we know that they paid like close to $1 billion for the rights for this kind of thing. So even though that it didn't land with everybody, they've got to press on. They've got to try to turn it around. And you've heard that that's exactly what they were going to do for season 2. No more of the kind of like choppiness of the storylines like season 1. I think they can course correct because there's still lots of people that like and love the Lord of the Rings universe, right? So it's kind of like, even if they do a second season, which they've already filmed, it's in the can, comes out this year, we will do full live watch-alongs for it when it drops. It's just kind of like a given that there's a season 3. I think when I heard from the showrunners in the first season is that even though those showrunners got fired, didn't they? That they had an idea. The inception was that it was going to be like 4 or 5 seasons. The second season of the Rings of Power has yet been release date has yet been to be announced, but could you get a third season? Probably. We began this remarkable journey with JD and Patrick more than 5.5 years ago and never looked back, said Vernon Sanders, head of television at Amazon MGM Studios. We continue to be amazed by the scope and scale of their vision and the enormous global success achieved by The Rings of Power in its record breaking first season. We can't wait for Prime Video customers to experience an epic adventure and high stakes drama. Okay. That JD and Patrick are continuing to build throughout season 2 and beyond. Naturally, the studio is thrilled to extend our overall deal with these brilliant creative minds as they continue to deliver their passion for great storytelling. Well, some people will say that no, that the writers were part of the problem, um, but they have been chastised. I know that they have been ordered a new kind of edict, a new mission statement. Yeah, for season 2. Cut out the fluff. Get us down to the, because when you were talking with Elrond and the dwarf, um, that stuff, that storyline was awesome. That was great, and with them discovering Mithril and stuff, I loved all of that stuff. And I like the stuff with Galadriel. I do. I like the mystery of who is Sauron. Is Sauron one of these people? Is Gandalf one of these people? I like that mystery. The stuff with with the hobbits, proto hobbits or whatever, that's the stuff where it's kind of like a little bit weak for me. But I didn't hate it as much as some people were just like ragging on it for some reason. But and I totally admit that it had story pacing problems. But I thought that it had a big enough payoff at the end that it was like it's worth the experience. Uh, so obviously season 3, that's a ways off, like 2027 probably, right? Maybe 2026 if we're lucky. Hey, Belgium is the place for chocolate, says Glass. Belgium, okay, yeah, that's right. That's the land of chocolate, right? Let's go on to some hit or miss. If it's a hit, we'll talk about it. If it's a miss, we'll move on. Here are all 13 of Taylor Swift's documentaries and live concerts, and some projects that have been released about the global superstar. By the way, where is my 4K version of the Eras Tour movie yet? Where's Chris Schroeder? We need to ask him where that's coming out, because I need it. I need it sitting right back here. I'll put it right back here. Maybe I'll frame it, put it on my wall. So yeah, that's just a part. Eras Tour is great. Journey to be Fearless. I don't know about that. I also like the Reputation Stadium Tour movie as well. I want that just for you. Then she did like a Long Pond Sessions. Is that what's on Disney Plus right now? Where she's just talking about how those songs came together. Miss Americana was also really good. About the Lover album. Next, Oprah Winfrey leaves Weight Watchers bored after disclosing use of weight loss medication. Yeah, apparently she's been using the Ozempic or something like that, and that just takes away all the appetite. But it's hard to preach about Weight Watchers when you're on a drug that suppresses your appetite, right? No, that's the right thing to do. It's good that she got the weight off, but she's been somebody who's just like me that's been fighting the battle of the bulge over the years. Some years I've got it, like this year, I've got it for sure. Hopefully I can lose it all and keep it off, though. That's exactly what I want for her too. Like enough of the carbs. Get them out of here. Get them out of here, man. That's what I say. Next. Sopranos co-star Drea De Matteo saved her house from foreclosure using OnlyFans money after acting career stalled. It saved my life 100%. Some people have to turn to that stuff. And she's a bit of an older woman, which is fine. She's still got plenty of sex appeal. And from what I understand, it's not like complete. It's like tasteful nudes, kind of like in the old Playboys. It's not here. Here are my legs up in the air kind of thing. It's not like that. Hey, that's what you got to do to save your house. That's what I say. Thumbs up. Next. What Disney's film executive shuffle really means for live action reboots, corporate culture, and Iger's succession. Yeah, we talked about this earlier in the week. This is more of the business side of stuff, guys. Well, hey, it involves the MCU, it'll involve Lucasfilm, this executive shuffle at the top brass. Not a lot of people are talking about this because this is more like the boring side of stuff. It's kind of like, yeah, sucks sometimes. But some people are saying that maybe they'll stop with making all the live action versions. Now, the only other one that I know that we're supposed to get was the Tangled live action. Disney film needs to be shot in the art. Oh yeah, and I heard that they're also maybe thinking about a third Maleficent movie, right? Instead of one agent. Oh yeah, and then we're getting that prequel to Lion King coming out this year. I don't know what the heck you're doing, man. I don't know what the heck you're doing. Pfeiffer says Drea De Matteo charges $10 a month for OnlyFans. $10 a month? Hey, if you like that artist and you want to support them, it's just like this, guys. When we're doing like a movie reaction or something, which we will be doing this Saturday. We'll Saturday morning, guys, right here on Mirror Domains, we will be watching the Spaceman movie with Adam Sandler, and it's on Netflix. It's on 60%. 81. I don't care about the Adam Sandler and Carey Mulligan in space, right? I'm looking forward to it, and I want to share that experience with you guys. And when we do that, and you guys tip in, or if you, I'm not saying that you have to tip in for when we watch this one, but when we do those things and you guys tip in, it helps the channel. So if you know, by all means, some people have other methods of having people tip them. She's using her what God gave her. I got no problem with it as long as it's not my daughter or my niece or anybody in my family. But kudos to her. All right. Yes. So come join us this Saturday morning. I think we'll probably get underway probably around 11:30, 12 o'clock-ish. And we're going to watch Spaceman, which I'm looking forward to. So we got Dune and Spaceman to kick us off in March. March 1st, guys. So Dune in the theaters and Adam Sandler on streaming. Looking forward to it. Yeah, we haven't done a live reaction in a while. So let's go over to the Twitterverse and see if I missed anything. Sometimes trailers drop or something. Bad Bunny is to present this year at the Oscars. Oh yeah, not this Sunday, but next Sunday is when the Oscars happen, and we will be live, hopefully, reacting to some of the winners. Jennifer Lawrence is set to present. Cool. Millie Bobby Brown at the Damsel photo call. She's 19 now, right? Almost. She's going to be 20 this year. Bright career ahead of her. And it seems like her head is on. Now, I have heard stories that Millie is at times done the diva behavior, but she's young. She'll get experience and she'll realize. Hopefully, she'll work with people like Tom Cruise, where you'll see the professionalism on the set, and she'll just like she's got time to mold herself into a super awesome person, right? Because she does have a good heart, and she does get involved with the humanitarian work, right? She does. So that's one of the reasons why I like her. Anyway, greatest hits. Like is that April 5th, streaming on Hulu. April 12th. Is this about music lovers? Is that Uh, David Cornsweet, or Superman right there. Although he doesn't look like he's got the pipes there. David Cornsweet right there, yeah. First look at Hacks Season 3. I don't care about that. Xavier Dolan. Denis Villeneuve arrives with Dune Part 2. Yeah, we know that. Musica. Camila Mendez and Rudy Mancuso. Mancuso, sorry. April 4th on Prime Video. Okay. 10 days until the Oscars. Yeah, and next week, guys, when we're doing the movie news stuff, I think probably on the Friday show or Thursday show, I think. No, I'm working. No, I'm working Saturday next week. Whenever we'll do a formal ballot. We'll fill out the ballots of who I'm picking to win the Oscars, so that when we watch it on Sunday, we'll see how many I get right and get wrong, kind of thing. The new poster for The Strangers Chapter 1. And the trailer debuts tomorrow. So we're going to have a Strangers Chapter 1 trailer tomorrow. Didn't we already get like a small tease of it before? Didn't we get a teaser of this already? It was just her, right? Again, it looks like they're going back to the classic masks. Rennie Harlan directs, right? Is this serious? Looks good. Huh. Official trailer for Musica. New trailer for Bikeriders. Yeah, we talked about that. Penelope Cruz covers the latest issue of V Magazine. Guys, it sucks that she didn't get the nomination for uh, Ferrari, because she was so good in Ferrari. And Ferrari's a movie I want to watch with you guys when it comes out. I know it'll be like of a slower drama, but we've done those before, like Naiad. So, and a lot, it's like Ferrari's worth watching because of her. She does a great job acting wise, and she's got some great scenes with Adam Driver. Penelope Cruz, great actress, indeed. Still looking young there, right? And she's married to Javier Bardem, right? That that who she's married to? Spouse, yeah, Javier Bardem. She's 49. Still stunning. Drew Starkey. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not on the Luca Guadagnino train. I'm not. I know a lot of people are. I just, something about his execution of the stories, because he does gritty subject matter, which I appreciate. But it's just, I don't know. It's his style that just doesn't land with me, I suppose. Drew Starkey, I don't know who that is. A series on R.F. Kuang's historical fantasy epic Babel. Okay. He's interesting looking, no? Kit Connor, Will Poulter, Cosmo Jarvis, and are eyed to join Alex Garland's next movie. Charles Melton and Joseph Quinn are also on board to star. Guys, what is it? Pipes Day or something? Do I need to get all my? I don't have pipes. I can't do that. Yeah, Will Poulter's big too. He got big for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, right? Put on some mass. New trailer for. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about this. Richard Lewis passing away yesterday. Um, my brother used to watch his stand-up routines back on Super Channel, I think it was, back in the late '80s, early '90s. Of course, we seen him in Robin Hood Men in Tights. 76. That's on the younger side, right? Or That used to be like the old, uh, uh, I guess, life expectancy, right? But yeah, rest in peace. Oh yeah, and that Rebecca Ferguson story. I got to publish that by myself too. All right. Oh yeah, and later on today, I'm going to be filming my best, all the movies I've seen in February. So that'll come out later. And Richard Lewis looks like the lead singer of Crash Test Dummies, Brad Roberts. Maybe a little bit. But from what I understand, he didn't have any enemies or anything like that. He handled himself as a top class professional. So yeah, rest in peace. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I have in the can for today. Um, I am off tomorrow because I am working all day. So I know that's kind of a bummer. I may get on tomorrow night and do a spoiler discussion for Dune Part 2. I'll see how I feel after I get off work. If I got any gas left in my tank. But if not, come join us on Saturday because we will be watching The Spaceman. If not, go out and enjoy Dune Part 2. I mean, it's just one of those things where when you go see it, it'll be just like, it's true. They weren't lying. Nobody was lying about this movie being good. It's good. So thank you very much for joining me in the live chats there, Byford the Hobbit and Glass Vikings. See you next time on Mirror Domains.